Hi everyone, I am doing the astrology for 2025. Yes, whew. This is going to take a minute, so get a nice hot cup of cocoa and sit back and listen in because there's just so much to go over on the astrology and it will just take me a minute. All right, for those old enough, take a look at where you were in 1969. 1989, and 2020. What do these dates have in common? The answer is not what you might think that is clear and concise or some sort of repetitive pattern that will help us make sense out of life. But I want you to really think about what was happening to you personally and globally at those times. Okay, in 1969, outer planets came together and generated a time of tremendous musical, cultural, and technology revolutions. For those alive during that time, much changed for you personally as well. In 1989, another rare outer planet alignment propelled the collapse of the Berlin Wall and heralded the end of the Cold War. The global shift was profound and impacted us personally as well. In 2020, another outer conjunction shifted the world drastically and changed businesses, culture, everything in our life was profoundly impacted because of COVID. And here we sit, once again, watching massive outer planetary changes and shifts igniting a fire that cannot be stopped. Part of that is because of both Saturn and Neptune leaving Pisces and moving into Aries. Aries is the god of war. Saturn will shift into Aries in May 2025, and Neptune will start the process off in March of 2025. Then Jupiter will leave Gemini on June 7th, 2025, and go into Cancer, where it is exalted. Uranus will leave Taurus and go into Gemini in July of 2025. And to start the year off, the lunar nodes will shift us in January of 2025. So, for the first 7 months of 2025 is packed with major upheavals, and it can feel as if almost each month you are asked to leap off a cliff and fly. The past many years have felt quite dramatic, but I am pretty sure that we are not really prepared for what is about to transpire. Were we really prepared when COVID hit in 2020? Not really. I believe that we had a test in the COVID situation, and I believe that often the universe will not give us all the bits of information because some things have to be experienced until one is faced with the unimaginable. We cannot understand the full impact of our actions and choices. So, if you can pay off your credit cards, I would do it quickly. If you are entering into a time of we are entering into a time of accelerated change with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto in a minor triangle. We are warned that rapid change is only the beginning. All the structures of our societies globally are going to shift. The activation for this year is all fire and air. At the end of 2025 and even 20 years from now, this will be a year to remember. Nothing will feel the same at the end of that. And perhaps that is the level of upset we need to light a fire under us and finally do what needs to be done. January through March is focused on the retrogrades. Mars, being retrograde in Leo and Cancer, is volatile and highly reactive. Expect the global crisis in the Middle East to explode. April through June is all about planets changing signs, setting the stage for a very new experience and expressions. July through September, that minor triangle with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto will come full into effect. I expect that time to be one of the constant climate change crises that are so startling that the world reacts in alarm. Finally. And October through December, Jupiter in Cancer will trine to Saturn and Neptune, forcing us to finally see the shocking bigger picture, and I expect the narrative to drastically alter. Highlights of 2025. Mars is still in its retrograde pattern that began the end of 2024. While this aspect can make emotions more reflective and our get up and go slower, know that you might want to take advantage of that slight hesitation or delay, because after the beginning of this year, there will be no holding anything back. The changes will come fast and furious, and we are all in for a wild ride. On January 6th, the Mars energy will back up into Cancer, and that challenges us emotionally, and we recognize that nothing that we have as an agenda is going to flow in the order or way that we anticipated. Yes, it is the new year, and we want to embrace a new self, but the delays are everywhere, and it would be wise not to push, because you are just going to find yourself more frustrated than fascinated. Mars will station and go direct on February 23rd, and then from that point on, you might wish for some of that retrograde to help you out later in the year. January 11th, 2025, the nodes will shift out of the Aries Libra trajectory and into the Pisces Virgo frequency. If you had not noticed, that old pattern pitted us against each other and accentuated the rifts that divided our country, well, it's going to be really clear now. Aries is all about pushing to get what it wants, and to hell with the consequences. It is a sign that is childish, petulant, and demanding in its negative, and as its negative thinks only of itself. Libra is the opposite. It wants balance and to come together. It wants fairness and acceptance. It wants us to feel as if we are doing things to unify rather than divide. Clearly, Aries won in this battle of the nodes. But now these nodes shift into the places of Pisces, which wants to build a world filled with more compassion and do things that are more integrative. This energy will allow us to more fully embrace the unknown and help us look to more spiritual and intuitive choices that move us towards a more creative world. The Virgo energy is in the South Node, and that makes us look at our unrelenting perfectionism that has made us miserable and tight on the inside. We are called to let go even more. We are called to surrender up our old self and embrace things that are now clearly beyond our control. We are to learn to be guided by our own deepest self and spiritual core, rather than the rules and laws generated by flawed thinking and flawed people. The North Node will be in Pisces until July 26th, 2026. The focus this year is to be on healing. In a traditional sense, this can cause old conflicts to seek resolution. I'm afraid it will rile things up first before we get to that moment, but we shall see. I hope we have those leaders who rise up to help us clean up the messes that have been created. I hope we find new leaders who offer hope and a vision of a future that is inclusive and compassionate. Again, we will see. Mars 1st through April 12th, 2025, Venus will go retrograde in Aries. It seems that when Venus moves in reverse, we can get reversals in our heart. many things will seem to restructure, and we begin to see what is really important to us in the long run. The last time these types of Venus retrogrades happened was March-April 2017, March-April 2009. Look back on those dates to see how it either did or did not impact you. That will give you a clue as to what might be coming your way once again. During this cycle, you might have some blasts from the past show up. You might see more clearly patterns you have in relationships. Venus will move into Pisces on March 27th and move out of retrograde on April 12th. For those with the disposition, this retrograde could propel you into a powerful place spiritually. What will be clear this year is that the external world is convulsing and contracting. This is all a part of the birthing process that will herald the new age destined to approach, regardless of the delay tactics of the powerful and the wealthy. We are going to seek answers from the ethers rather than this earthly realm. March and April are perfect times for a spiritual adventure, meditation retreat, or personal growth workshop. It is time to go deep or go home, or go deep to go home. Neptune will go into Aries on March 30th, 2025. Yes, it feels as if the murky waters of Neptune and Pisces have finally done enough to drag us into those places that needed to be cleared and cleaned. Yes, we are all exhausted by the emotional trauma drama since 2012 and feel anxious and antsy to get on with it. Well, you might have to remind yourself of that phrase when you begin to feel as if you are being shot out of a cannon. It has taken Neptune 165 years to come back into Aries, and it is a big deal on all levels. Neptune is trying to dance with Saturn as they are sitting almost at the exact same degree with each other, and we will be doing the Texas two-step for a while. Neptune in Aries is all about activating our individual dreams and stepping into our authentic self. Saturn is there to keep Neptune in a more realistic place and to help it take off the rose-colored glasses. While it may take some time for them to find a comfortable rhythm with each other, it is destined to be supportive over time. It will allow for more creative expressions that are practical and have solid steps that will help us climb into a new era. Great things can come from being humble at the beginning. May 25th, 2025. Saturn will also go into Aries. Having both of these outer planets together will last till September of this year. At this same time of Saturn's retrograde, it will back up into Pisces for one final hit. Many things will need to be resolved and completed before going forward once again. While Neptune in Aries wants to escape reality, Saturn in Aries shows you the truth staring you in the face. Neptune wants to wander around like its watery source seeking the strongest flow. Saturn wants to force you to see what you can no longer escape from. The combination of these planets in Aries is going to create an identity crisis for each of us in the virtual reality. And AI will bring some hard lessons to those behind the curve. The new world is going to take over our old reality in ways we cannot comprehend at this time. Jupiter will go into Cancer on June 9th, 2025. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, meaning it is in its happy place. Both the sign and the planet love when things grow in a way that is all about creating more comfort in our reality and allowing prosperity in new ways. Both are willing to give things a try, and Cancer is all about integrity and follow-through. Jupiter will illuminate things that are out of integrity, and that is going to help us see which goals might now be more prudent and necessary. While this cycle is very optimistic, it is not unwilling to give us a bit of shock as the reality of what we have done comes home to roost. July 7th, 2025. Uranus moves out of Taurus and into Gemini. Uranus is not known for being a subtle planet, and when it changes signs, its shifts can be dramatic in a variety of ways. An air planet going into an air sign is like a sign saying, "Full steam ahead." Expect the unexpected. Know that what unfolds will have a powerful sense of urgency. The last time Uranus shifted, we had the Islamic Revolution with Tunisia and Egypt, and the changing of the guard as the North Korean leader died and his son took over. With the volatility in the Middle East and Aries dominating so much of those countries' astrology, I expect to see more dramatic shifts from that area. When Uranus goes into Gemini, the revolutionary ideas that seemed stuck and languishing will find foothold and climb up the mountain of technology will be nothing if not meteoric. The minor triangle between Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto starts in August and goes through September of 2025. Uranus and Pluto are in a minor trine while Neptune is going to sextile Pluto and Uranus. This pattern has a type of almost alien construct. It brings in major changes of energy that are very different and quite strong. I would not be surprised if the incoming president doesn't release all the information about aliens that the government has accumulated over the many years. This aspect will make us see ourselves in a new light and how the questions about our existence and our place in the universe will now drastically change. October through December 2025. Jupiter will trine both Saturn and Neptune. This is something quite astounding trying to happen in 2025. I wonder if we will be able to really see it all, or if much of it will be intentionally hidden from us. This is a year where many things are going to force us to open our minds, whether we like it or not. But in the end of this transformational year, the emotional connections in our lives deepen, and we find a new place to stand in this very new reality. The Mercury retrogrades this year will bounce between fire and water signs. This means that while we have moments that we need to step back and detach from the world's chaos, it also means we are asked to deepen our connections to those we love and trust the most. April 2nd through April 26th, 2025, the Mercury retrograde will be in Aries, fire, and Pisces, water. On July 17th through August 11th, 2025, the Mercury retrograde will be in Leo, fire, and Leo, fire. And then finally, on November 9th through November 29th, 2025, the Mercury retrogrades will be in Sagittarius, fire, and Scorpio, water. We can't leave out the eclipses. There is a total lunar eclipse in Virgo, March 14th, 2025. There's a partial solar eclipse in Aries, March 29th, 2025. There is a total lunar eclipse in Pisces, September 17th, 2025. And there is a partial solar eclipse in Virgo at 29 degrees on September 21st, 2025. While all eclipses herald endings and beginnings, the last one on September 21st is at 29 degrees of Virgo. In other words, that particular one kicks ass. This will be a big turning point for the world and for us personally. I will be interested to see how that unfolds. Overview of 2025. This is a big year and much hidden will be revealed. We are on a course that will collectively shift every person on the planet. You can imagine what that is going to have to look like if that is the case. This is no small year. This is a year where the old is burned away and the new will need to be created from the ground floor up. The amounts of change will feel destabilizing on every level. Our expectations will not pan out, and what we put so much time and effort into may not show up the way we wanted or expected. We're going to be asked to create a new world from scratch. But homemade is always the best thing anyway. There will be many possibilities open to us. Those walking on the old path will be swept up in the storm of change happening. No matter what, we will have to be brave and bold, just like the planets shifting into Aries. The universe has a plan in mind. Learn to listen to that new flow and place yourself in the middle of the current. Use your open mind to help you find the elusive doorways that you currently cannot see. Trust yourself to find the path, because in the end, it is going to be all up to you. Thanks, everyone.